What is it with Bill Pullman and characters named Bob? That was the first thing that stood out to me when his character was introduced, and his name is Bob. Bob. He played the character Bob in Top Gun Maverick. Okay, let's get around to this review for Thunderbolts. I initially didn't have a huge amount of expectation for it, and I wasn't really planning to watch it, and then I grew more interested. So I went and checked it out today, first showtime, 2 p.m. The theater wasn't crowded, but it wasn't empty either. There was a bit of laughter from some people in the audience, especially the guy to my left. There was a lot he found funny about it, in a good way, not in a, laughing because it's so bad kind of way. Hold on a second, my dog. Of course. Come on. There you go. Okay. All right. I was talking about the guy sitting next to me laughing. So the movie, it's okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either. It's not the worst Marvel film I've seen. I would definitely choose to rewatch this as opposed to Captain Marvel, which I absolutely hate. The pros going for this one are that, well, the cast is enjoyable. I always liked Florence Pugh in the character of Yelena in Black Widow. I feel like she stole the show, honestly, from Scarlett Johansson. And that appreciation for her portrayal of that character carries through in this film as well. I like Yelena. I always have. I do find it a bit hard to suspend my disbelief continually when it comes to her fighting multiple armed men at once and taking them all down. There's a scene at the beginning that shows that. That could have been scaled back a lot because that was a little bit eyeball roll inducing. But I have always liked the way she plays that character. David Harbour, once again, was really good in here. I've always found the way he played that character, can't remember, but whatever. So in Black Widow, at the beginning, he's not this goofy, crazy person. And then when you pick up again with him later on in Black Widow, he's this goofy, crazy person. And he's still that way in this movie. It's played to comedic effect because he's very good in the role and he's got great comedic timing and the way he delivers his lines, really, really funny. It's just such a weird contrast to the way he came across at the beginning of Black Widow. And I don't know, maybe his time in jail kind of made him go cray-cray like that, or this is just the way his character was always supposed to be, but we never saw that side of him until we saw him in jail. Anyway, it just feels like I always think about, wow, he's so different from the way he was at the beginning of the other movie. He's great in here. If you enjoyed his performance in Black Widow, I think you will enjoy this as well. Ghost returns, and oh shoot, I forgot that crazy character's name. The one thing I really didn't like about Black Widow, I actually enjoy Black Widow quite a bit, but I did not like the character of Taskmaster. I thought the way that they did that was really stupid, the dumb gender swap that they did. So I can get why fans were mad. I didn't know much about Taskmaster, so it didn't affect me as much as them, but I totally get why that was an annoyance. Bucky is back, and also Wyatt Russell, who played Captain America in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So there are at least 3 other things that you are expected to have seen before going in to see Thunderbolts. I did happen to have watched all of these things. There's reference to the previous Captain America movie, which I did not watch and do not plan to, but you definitely need to have watched Black Widow to get the character dynamic of Yelena and to understand this great pain that she feels and to understand the relationship that she has with, is his name Sergei? I can't remember. David Harbour's character. And then you also need to have watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier to understand Wyatt Russell's character, and then finally Ant-Man and the Wasp to get who the heck Ghost is. So there's like these prerequisites that you need to take care of before watching this movie if you want to get the most out of it. There are some other things that I did appreciate about it. For one, I did like that they delved into more serious subject matter like depression, life regrets, mental illness. things like that. So they do kind of try to ground it in some realism when it comes to that. The problem is that I don't feel like they balanced it out very well. I watched Film Threat's review for this movie, and I believe it was Chris that brought up the fact that everything that wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy, not in the previous MCU movies, everything that wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy was treated seriously. Guardians brought this level of comedy to it, and now it does feel like, more often than not, there's this slapsticky, goofy, comedic dialogue, comedic interactions with the characters, all this quippiness, and it feels in a lot of ways like it is devaluing the seriousness of what the story is supposed to be about. That is something that this film suffers from for me. They had all this serious subject matter about, well, basically this film being an allegory for these things, that depression, feelings of low self-worth and regrets and all of that stuff. But then on the flip side, they turn around and okay, I thought she was wanting to get in my lap. What I was saying is, on the flip side, they would turn around and then have this quippy little quote or comment that's thrown in there for, giggles and laughs. And it just felt like it wasn't a really good balance of these two different tones. And as Chris and Alan pointed out in their review, that MCU movies did it best when they balanced that quippy humor, which helped to kind of relieve some of the tension of what was going on, but they balanced it with serious events when it actually mattered, and it didn't feel like this quippy humor interfered with the serious nature of what was going on. It's a weird line that you have to walk it right in order for things to work well. And I don't feel like this movie pulled that off as good as it could have or should have, even though I did appreciate that sort of subject matter being dealt with. It was described as getting to some serious depths and then sinking to silly levels when these moments of comedy happen. I think you'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it. I don't know, maybe you won't, but that was definitely something that jumped out at me right away. I do feel like that's something that does kind of pull this film back a bit for me. The plot it's okay. It involves the character of Julie Louis, a chick from Seinfeld. She's been in the other movies and shows before. She's like this head bad lady, like the big bad, and she was, just up to the same stuff that she'd been up to and trying to control situations and get rid of people that she felt were a threat to her. She's almost kind of become a bit cartoony for me. I can't really take her seriously as this big, huge threat, and how in the heck she hasn't been adequately dealt with before now. I did appreciate, though, that they tried to give her character a bit of nuance, because there is a moment in here where she is seeing flashbacks of her past. And so you see along with her that she is reliving a very traumatic event from her childhood, which kind of gives a bit more sympathy to her character, even though she's completely bad, but you understand her a little bit better. So I did appreciate that about it. I have seen some complaints that the ending of the film felt anticlimactic. I get where they're coming from. I don't necessarily feel super disappointed with how things were resolved. It felt appropriate to the situation, but I can also understand why some people might not have been fulfilled by the way things played out. And once everything is resolved, there's not a lot of settling down time leading into sort of an epilogue-y type thing. It's just over pretty quickly. There are two scenes, one mid-credit, one at the very end. If you want to hang around for that, obviously do. There is a tie-in to something upcoming in one of those scenes. So, if you feel that's important, stick around for it. I stuck around for it just because I knew something was going to be shown, but I honestly have very little anticipation for upcoming Marvel projects. So when a certain thing was revealed at the end, I honestly did not give a crap. I I don't care. I'm not into Marvel like I was. I expected that would happen after Endgame, and they really haven't done anything to prove my suspicions wrong. This is one of the more enjoyable films since Endgame, but it's definitely not going to be up there with the best of the Marvel movies. You know, I can't go so far as to say it was terrible like I have seen some people saying. I didn't feel that way, but I also don't feel like this is the best Marvel movie since Endgame. No, it's not. But it's enjoyable enough. So I feel, I don't know, a little mixed about it. Anyway, I don't think I have anything else to say about Thunderbolts for now, so I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys watch it, let me know what you think. We'll see how well it does this weekend. I do feel like it's probably going to overtake Sinners. Sinners is a much better film. But I'm biased. Okay, you guys, that's it for this one. Later.